Welcome back to our Blue Z Water channel. Today I'd like to do a video on P.E.M.F. I'd like to show you a new device and just go over the therapy and what it's good for. I own a very high-end professional device called the Sedona Pro, and the question would be, what makes a device a professional device or a high-end device? And the answer really comes down to two key issues: the ability to fluctuate the Gauss intensity of the therapy, that's the magnetic field strength, and also the frequency capability of the therapy. So many P.E.M.F systems are quite expensive. The Sedona Pro is about $5,000, but it comes with a mat. Now, everything in the system is pure copper. There are P.E.M.F systems that put out a tremendous amount of magnetic force, but they're not really pure copper. If they were, it would weigh like 500 pounds. So they play tricks with the field, and it's not a pure copper field. Also, you really don't need much in excess of 100 Gauss therapeutically. So all this extra Gauss is more like getting on a vibration machine and rattling the body. So with a high Gauss P.E.M.F system, you could literally cause a muscle to do this. This is excessive. This is not really the point of P.E.M.F therapy, to rattle the cage intensively. If you want to vibrate the entire structure or body, you can buy a high-end vibration machine, which puts out a lot of G-force for much less money. So the Sedona Pro uses pure copper, and if you need that 100 Gauss, it's very powerful. I've worked on broken bones, tendons. My wife recently broke her toe, she said, or very close to a break. Horrible, painful. Literally, it took only 2 treatments for an hour on the Schumann frequency at 100 Gauss with the intense pillow applicator. And after that second treatment, her toe was fine. It immediately, expressed itself, showed a lot of ugly colors, but the pain was gone literally after 2 treatments, and she was walking around normal. I've had people come in with broken bones, same thing, accelerates the healing time tenfold. I had an Achilles aggravation, very intense. I would literally, after tennis, have to walk on a crutch, and I just had to stop playing tennis. I treated it with everything I knew. I used DMMSO, acupuncture, my rapid release tool. I was doing all the bodywork stuff. When I put my Achilles injury on the P.E.M.F pillow once again, when I used it on my wife, 2 weeks, I was back on the courts. It was like I'd never had the injury. So what is going on with this P.E.M.F? When you get to the right Gauss, the magnetic field strength, this is key. The pulsed electromagnetic frequency field is literally going right through you. There is not one cell that it doesn't vibrate. That's the key with these cellular bone injuries, tendon injuries. You can't get in and literally get to every cell. So this therapy is like an MRI. Just keep that in mind. It goes right through you. So now you just need to have it strong enough and dial in the right frequency. So now I want to get to the more interesting part about P.E.M.F, really, to me, its main forte, and this is on the regulation of the neurological system. I call it magnetic hypnosis. So for instance, if you put it on Schumann, the P.E.M.F on the Schumann frequency, 7.83, and you're lying down on the mat, you're going to become very, very relaxed. This is a theta frequency that produces meditation. Alpha is also meditative. So anywhere between 1 and 12, 13, you're going to be in that meditation arena. Now, if you go down lower, it's sleep, delta. If you set it to like 1 hertz, you're going to easily fall asleep. I typically recommend P.E.M.F mainly for the nervous system. Most people have a lot of anxiety. They can't down cycle, they can't down regulate. And therefore, this literally is like hypnosis, magnetic hypnosis. So if you're all wired, you're anxious, and then you lie down at 7.83 Schumann or 5 or whatever, 7, whatever frequency is in that meditative arena, The lower you go, the deeper the meditation until you're in sleep. The higher you go, it's a lighter meditation. Then you can do that for an hour and you can really help break the cycle of anxiety and stress. Now we have a whole trauma release program that gives you many other therapies for trauma and stress. Now, I'm 67 years old, so I'll put the P.E.M.F on all night long. Now, if you're going to run it all night long, we have several videos explaining why you must use grounding along with the P.E.M.F therapy. But in a nutshell, here's the simple imagery. Imagine a strong mountain stream and you dam it up. You're going to have a lot of resistance. So you have to break the dam to let the water go through. But with P.E.M.F, the stronger you run that gauss, the stronger the stream of energy. If you don't have a way to release the excess energy, it's going to build up a lot of stress and tension in your body. Now, a lot of P.E.M.F systems, for that reason, run on a very low gauss threshold. But you really can't get the full therapeutic benefit unless you turn the gauss up. But if you have this resistance, which is your body, if you have no way to release the excess energy, then you're going to have to turn it down. It's like having this mountain stream pushing up against the dam. You either decrease the force of the stream or the dam's going to just break on its own. So that resistance between the electromagnetic field trying to go through you and having no way to release creates aggravation, and this starts to back up in your body and you feel like the therapy is crap. So if you're going to do it all night long, you can get a simple grounding system. It's very easy. You get this on Amazon, a grounding sheet, a grounding mat, and put that over your P.E.M.F. Put the P.E.M.F under your sheet or under a pad or whatever you do. Put the grounding to where you can touch it above, and then that field will pass through you. It'll come into you and it'll be a pass-through field. The second thing that you need to do if you're doing it all night long is drink plenty of water, but typically I don't find that enough, so I breathe hydrogen all night long, which is a very anti-inflammatory therapy. Keep in mind, electricity, fire through copper. This is a fire therapy. This creates dehydration and dryness. So in order to balance that out, you need to either drink plenty of water. If you get up in the middle of the night, drink water, because you might wake up in the morning feeling dehydrated. So the hydrogen is something I breathe all night long because that's a great therapy unto itself. It's a cellular healing therapy, as is P.E.M.F. We have a video explaining various therapies that work at the cell level. Again, P.E.M.F goes through you, does this to every cell. It's a magnetic pump. It's also, if you get it on your brain and your nervous system and you put it to a nice calming frequency, it's magnetic hypnosis or magnetic meditation. Just make sure to counteract the negative aspects or the inherent deficiencies of the therapy is one, it'll build a field up in your body, so ground yourself so it passes through, and two, it's a fire therapy, balance it with water. So either do hydrogen all night long, which is very hydrating, anti-inflammatory, and drink water. Alrighty, so a couple of pointers as far as frequencies. If you're doing it all night long and you're way down in sleep zone and you want to wake up, there's a good little sweeps you can do in the Sedona. This morning I ran an 8 to 70 sweep. That's taking me from theta all the way up to what's called gamma, and it's getting your brain. It's like doing a cup of coffee, P.E.M.F style. You could do 5 to 15, 8 to 70, 1 to 1,000. You could set it on 25 hertz. Franz recommends 25 hertz. But whatever you do, if you're having trouble coming out of that hypnotic trance, then put it in the wake up mode. So, and as we get older, we're not, I admire my dogs. 10 seconds, they're sleeping, then they can jump up, boom. Obviously, their circadian rhythm is pretty simple. Humans, sometimes it takes, and I'm sure any one of you listening to this video out there, there's somebody who says, I never can wake up in the morning. I never quite can click out of that state. Or you can never come out of anxiety and come out of state. So this is just inherent to the human nervous system the older we get, particularly in this environment. By the way, this is a 5G blocking baseball cap. I have we did a video recently on blocking materials. I have a hoodie, 2 hoodies, and a poncho. So part of the nervous system disruption is also this heavy-duty electromagnetic environment we live in. So PMF is not going to block the 5G, for instance, but it will put a balanced field. It's like actually laying one field over another. So we do recommend trying to block the field. Now I wanted to show you a new technology. This is called the Neorhythm. This is a PMF wearable. Now the Sedona Pro is $5,000. That's expensive. That heavy-duty mat does wonders on the heavy-duty pillow, does wonders on, like I say, broken bones, Achilles, tendons. I use it on my head every night, behind my head, to knock me out, or if I wake up in the middle of the night. So if you have $5,000, I recommend it. But if you're just looking for something to try to regulate your brain, this is called the Neorhythm. Go on like this, or behind the head. It has different positions above the head. Very simple wearable. Now, you can Bluetooth enable this, and it works on a tap command. If you want to wake it up, you tap once. If you want to engage a program, you tap twice. If you want to stop, you tap twice. It has lights. So if it blinks green light 1 every second, that means the program is activated. This is blinking green every 5 seconds, which means it's in standby. The specs on this are pretty good. That's why I heard about this from a doctor, and he said he knew a researcher who looks at a lot of technologies, and he really liked this one. So the specs, this will go up to 25 Gauss, which is pretty good. Now my Sedona pillow goes up to 100. The 25 right on the head is enough to really make significant changes. And then the frequency range is somewhere between 1 and 300 and something hertz. The higher hertz frequencies, in the Sedona, which goes up to 15,000, are for specific issues. You're not going to get a full-fledged system, obviously, the Gauss or the full coverage for $300. This is $300. But what you are going to get is the ability to regulate the brain. So let's say you're trying to relax. You can put this in a relaxation program, which can take you anywhere between alpha, delta, theta, and alpha brainwave states. As a pain program. So for $300, I recommend you have 60 days to return it. So I recommend you try it if you want to do some regulation of your nervous system. With the full Sedona, obviously, you're going to cover the entire spine and the head. It's a full body system, plus you have that extra heavy duty applicator for really when you need to dig in deep. And by the way, with the brain, anybody who's suffering with a lot of heavy insomnia, I find that the pillow applicator on the Sedona, when you just put your head on there for an hour, really goes very deep into the brain. But this one is worth the try first. And I'd say for 80% of you out there, this probably would help a lot with brain regulation. Alrighty, so once again, PEMF, I want you to understand the key is the magnetic field strength. You want to get a system with pure copper, and don't buy a low Gauss system because they won't work on a lot of issues. The Beamer, IMRIS, they all claim they do wonderful things. They run at very low Gauss. Again, the reason they turn the Gauss down, and I don't understand this, for 30 years, PMF's been around more than, about 30 years, since almost 40 years. Anyhow, sometime in the 80s. The one obvious thing is this is an electromagnetic field that needs to be discharged, and anybody using PMF needs to understand this. We'll post some links below to our videos explaining this. So once you got that in tow, if you're doing PMF and you have the grounding and you're making sure you're hydrating, then you can get full benefit of this therapy. And you can experiment with different frequencies and different gas fields and intensities. All righty, any questions, please contact me, Andrew at blueseawater.com. Thank you.